It's the Bobby Mo Show, your favorite podcast, all about colonial sports. I'm Chris Shovlin, the play-by-play voice of Robert Morris University football and basketball. The Bobby Mo Show, again, is brought to you this week by Dollar Energy Fund. Coming up next, we have a great conversation for you with Kelly Flynn, a graduate student on the Robert Morris University women's lacrosse team. Yep, they were the champions of the MAC last year and went to the NCAA tournament. We'll talk with Kelly coming up next. This winter, many families in our area are struggling to make ends meet and keep their homes warm. You can make a difference by making a donation to Dollar Energy Fund. Your contribution will be matched dollar for dollar by Dollar Energy Fund's utility partners, and 100% of all donations will be used to help local families maintain or restore basic utility services. No one should have to face a Pittsburgh winter in the cold. Help spread the warmth to your neighbors in need and donate today at dollarenergy.org. And welcome back to the Bobby Mo Show. It's Chris Shovlin, and this week's show, of course, brought to you by Dollar Energy Fund, helping our neighbors in need maintain a basic utility service since 1983. Visit dollarenergy.org or text the word WARM, W-A-R-M, to 53555. That's WARM to 53555. Well, as promised, we have a member of the Robert Morris University women's lacrosse team with us. She is Kelly Flynn. And she's in her graduate season right now. And before we talk about something really specific that you've been doing and something that is going to be with you for a long, long time, because we're going to be talking about your career, which you're already involved in, let's talk about women's lacrosse and the fact that in just a couple of weeks, you're going to open the brand new 2022 season at the Ohio State University, right?
Yep, we have 11 days till our first game.
How are you getting ready for it in this cold weather?
It's challenging. We definitely utilize the Island Sports Complex, the bubble, to practice in if it's way too cold. But we're out there fighting the cold every day.
And you might not have to play outside at OSU, from what I understand, right?
Yes, they have a indoor sports complex that we actually played them in 2 years ago, and I believe we're playing in there again this year. So that'll be nice not to have to play in the freezing cold. Yeah,
it's tough enough to play lacrosse and play your opponent without having that third opponent out there, and that would be the weather, of course.
Absolutely. It makes it real hard to grip the stick when you can't feel your hands.
I'm sure that ball hurts, too.
Absolutely. Yes, it does.
That makes it even worse. Let's talk about your career here. You've had some great milestones, including, as I recall, back-to-back hat tricks. Talk about that. I mean, we make such a big fuss when Sidney Crosby does it in the NHL. What about back-to-back hat tricks in lacrosse here at Robert Morris?
I definitely owe a lot of that to my teammates. We have such a great team. I love the girls, great teammates, really skilled players. So a lot of my success definitely stems from my teammates. Like, I can't minimize that enough. Like, they have done so much for me, working with the whole offensive unit, including the Gandys who graduated last year and some of the players who are still here on the team now. It's really it was a special team to be a part of these past few years and even this year as well. So it's great to talk about my success, which I do believe I've had quite a bit of success here, but a lot of that I definitely owe to my teammates for just working hard, pushing me, pushing each other, and making each other better every day.
It truly is a team sport.
Yeah.
And when you play for as long as you have, and with the same people for as long as you have, you get to know tendencies.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they knew you were right there, right?
Yes. Yeah, definitely that chemistry comes with time, especially playing with twins, the Gandy twins. I mean, they have that twin telepathy, and after playing with them for 3-4 years, that comfortability definitely is there. You definitely know each other's tendencies, like you said. So that makes things a lot easier and a lot more team chemistry.
Does that rub off on the rest of the club then?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, it just gets that momentum.
Yeah,
that momentum going and the energy up, and it just snowballs from there.
Kelly Flynn is my guest from women's lacrosse. She is in her graduate season right now. They're getting ready to open up in a couple of weeks. You were on the first Robert Morris University women's lacrosse team to make it to the NCAA tournament. Let's talk about the experience and what an exciting feeling that had to be when you knew you were going to lacrosse's big dance.
It was amazing. It was one of the many lacrosse memories I'll remember for the rest of my life. We had such a special team last year. It sounds cliche, but we literally were all best friends. We all just loved each other so much and had that drive. Nothing was going to stop us. We were going to make it. We didn't have a choice. We all felt that way. We all knew what was on the line, what was at stake. We were graduating maybe 14 girls, seniors and grad students last year. So we knew that, look, we got to get this done, and we did. And it was an amazing feeling. The watch party for the NCAA when they announced the brackets, we all got together and watched it in the UPMC Center. Had a little celebration with cake, and some of the athletic department members were there.
Cool.
And it was just a special time. It was really, really fun, a really cool experience. And just that whole weekend and couple days span that we were there, it was just kind of surreal. Wow,
yeah.
we made it. We're playing against the top girls in the nation right now. That's really cool and really special thing to do. We had gone out to Notre Dame earlier that year, but that was just in the regular season, and to know that everything was on the line and we were playing the number 4 team in the nation it was pretty freaking cool.
That is pretty freaking cool. There's no question about it. And you got the rematch with the Fighting Irish out there in South Bend. And I know there's somebody really special on this team with you, and she was your roommate the whole time you were undergrads, right?
Yeah, and still now.
And that's Maddie Griffin.
Yeah, very, very special person. Love that girl to death. We actually met. We started playing soccer together when we were in 4th or 5th grade.
Really?
Yeah. We met in 4th or 5th grade. We lived about 15 minutes away from each other at home in Maryland. And then the next year, I would say 5th grade, 6th grade, I joined the Heroes Lacrosse Club. And she was on that team as well. And so we continued playing soccer and lacrosse together, and us and our family members, especially our dads, became really good friends. Just kind of that instant chemistry, that instant click, and we ended up rooming together on away trips in middle school, high school, with our families. Shared a hotel room when we went to New Jersey, New York, wherever we had tournaments and had to stay in a hotel, down in Florida when we went to Orlando, a tournament down there. We just kind of did everything together, and since we had that previous connection with soccer and that underlying connection, spending a lot of time with each other outside of just Heroes, that kind of just brought us even closer than players on the rest of the team, even though we played opposite positions. Yeah. Me as an attacker and her as a defender. And
I have to ask you, Kelly, was it a joint decision for the two of you to come here to Robert Morris?
Actually, it was not. It was not. She actually committed to the Naval Academy.
Oh, okay.
Her end of her freshman year of high school. And a little bit later, I committed here to Robert Morris, completely separate. And then as it kind of got closer to graduation, she kind of realized, oh, maybe this isn't for me. I don't think this is the path that I am going to take. And so she decided not to go to the Naval Academy and was looking elsewhere. And I kind of gave her a little nudge, hey, you might want to check out Robert Morris. Go for it. It's Pittsburgh. Great city, even though she's a Ravens fan, but that's okay.
We'll forgive her.
Yeah. But so I gave her that little nudge, and they're okay, yeah, we'll go up, we'll meet the coach. Kind of talked up the school, talked up the coach. Our dads were chatting. They're best friends, so that helped a lot as well. And she came here and visited, and she really liked it. The coach, they liked her. It's hard not to like her. She's a sweetheart.
Sure.
But Yeah,
and now we know the
yeah,
rest
and
of the
the
story.
rest is history,
And the rest is history.
That's
no
how it
question
happened.
about
Yeah.
it. Well, I really want to get into what both of you are doing right
Mm-hmm.
now, particularly you since you're here. But you both graduated with Bachelor of Science in Nursing degrees and minored in psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And you're both licensed nurses working in Pittsburgh area hospitals. And I have to tell you, and I know this is a podcast, but for the people listening, you're wearing your scrubs. I take it you either just came from work or you're headed to work.
Yeah, I'm heading to work. I work 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. tonight. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm about to go to work right after this.
So COVID took basically almost an entire season from your lacrosse career, and now you're fighting COVID in a different from a different vantage point. You're on the front lines of the fight against this thing. So tell me about the experience.
Yeah, that's an absolutely great way to put it. We really are fighting the front lines. I work on a cardiothoracic surgical unit at UPMC Presbyterian, and about a couple months into my my time there, we transitioned our floor to a full COVID unit.
Wow.
So before we had maybe 2, 3, if any, COVID patients on the unit. And then when this new surge started maybe a couple months ago.
Yeah, this Omicron thing.
Yeah. Then we transitioned to a full COVID unit. So we only have COVID patients. We've got almost 20 beds on our unit. And it's a lot to take care of all those COVID patients at once. But I mean, to know that we're doing that, not everybody can do that. Not everybody can work those 12-hour shifts and put in all those hours. I mean, every time you go into a room, no matter what, you have to wear your N95 mask, your hairnet or scrub cap, your face shield, a gown, gloves, everything. And every time you go into a room, even if it's just to hand them a food tray or get them a glass of water, it's a lot. Takes a lot more time than someone who's not in isolation precautions.
Sure. What you're doing is heroic.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell you that right now.
Thank you.
Have you been able to evade getting COVID, or have you had it? I shouldn't even ask that, but that's a personal question.
Oh, that's okay. I did get COVID. I got it around December, Christmas time last year for the first time. And then about 3 weeks ago, I did get it again. But it happens, comes with the territory, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it does.
I'm just lucky that it didn't hit me too bad. Not like one of those immunocompromised cases that could really affect me, like some of the patients that we do see, because it really does affect everybody differently. People don't understand that even though you might not get super sick from it, other people do. Yeah. So just because you are a 20-year-old healthy individual who can go out and wake up the next day and still go to work, whatever, some people just don't have that luxury. Some people have had transplants in the past or have underlying conditions, and so they need to be extremely precautious, even though sometimes that might not be feasible.
Sure. I don't mean to turn the Bobby Moe show into a political argument here, but the thing, I don't understand the anti-maskers. I don't understand the anti-vaxxers. You're right there in the middle of this thing, and I know. Yeah. I don't even have to ask you. I know you feel the same way.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely frustrating when people decide not to follow the guidelines, because it is proven that they do work, they do help, even if it's just to lessen the severity of symptoms. Like any little bit helps, honestly. But about half, I want to say 50-50 of people that we see on our unit have been vaccinated versus not. So people who are vaccinated, it's still possible to get it. It's just lessening those symptoms, those side effects, so maybe you won't get as sick as you normally might if you were unvaccinated. So any little bit helps that you can do to protect yourself or other people around you.
Kelly Flynn, I want to tell you, thank you for what you do, because you're trying to keep us all healthy, and you're trying to keep us all safe, and you're trying to play lacrosse for Robert Morris.
Yeah.
And I know you're getting ready for the season, and we talked a little bit about the fact that you're opening up at Ohio State, but after that, you're back in the Mid-America Conference. You won the title last year, and you got to go to the NCAA tournament. What's the hope for this season?
The same thing.
There
We
you go.
expect nothing less. Even though we did graduate so many people and have such a young team, that expectation is still the same. I know we have the talent. We can do it. We have the coaches that believe in us, that know how to win. They know how we work. They know how to make it to that place again, and they have the utmost confidence in us, and I have the utmost confidence in us, and I expect us to do the same thing, because I know we can. It's just a matter of if we do it.
Well, we know you're a winner. I want to thank you for joining me on the Bobby Mo Show here today. It's been a fascinating conversation. I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
All right. This winter, many families in our area are struggling to make ends meet and keep their homes warm. You can make a difference by making a donation to Dollar Energy Fund. Your contribution will be matched dollar for dollar by Dollar Energy Fund's utility partners, and 100% of all donations will be used to help local families maintain or restore basic utility services. No one should have to face a Pittsburgh winter in the cold. Help spread the warmth to your neighbors in need and donate today at dollarenergy.org. Support Dollar Energy Fund today and help your neighbors in need stay warm this winter. Find out how a small contribution can score big with those in need. Visit dollarenergyfund.org or text the word WARM, W-A-R-M, to 53555. That's WARM to 53555. All right, let's catch up with everything going on Colonials right now. We were talking about women's lacrosse. How about the guys? The men's lacrosse team will be at Duke University. That'll be Friday at 5 o'clock. As far as women's track and field is concerned, they're going to be in Granville, Ohio for the Bob Shannon Invitational. That will take place on Saturday. Men's basketball and women's basketball, they came up with a clean sweep at home at the UPMC Event Center this past week. The guys beat Milwaukee and Green Bay in back-to-back games and have now won 3 on the home floor in a row. Now, tonight, they're going to be at UIC. That'll be an 8 o'clock tip. I'll be on the RMU Game Day app with Coach Andy Toole for an inside look starting off at 7:45 p.m. That'll be tonight on the RMU Athletics Game Day app, Robert Morris at UIC. Then on Saturday, the Colonials will be at IUPUI in Indianapolis at 12 o'clock noon. We'll have that one starting at 11:45 Eastern Time. The women came up with 2 wins, as I said. They beat Oakland and Detroit Mercy this past week. Tonight, they'll be at Milwaukee for an 8 o'clock tip, and then Saturday they play at Green Bay starting at 2. And that'll do it for the Bobby Mo Show, brought to you again by Dollar Energy Fund. I'm Chris Shublin. We'll talk to you next time.